Greetings, Kindred. I am voivodemekhet. Welcome back to our world of darkness. And tonight, I'm gonna try Night Road. I've never played this game. I've been incredibly interested in it. I just never had taken the time, and I'm gonna give this a try. You know, just to see how this is. I am recording. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna upload it. But I guess if you are listening to the dulcet sounds of my sexy ass voice, I guess I decided to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get on this. Vampire the Masquerade Night Road by Kyle Marquis. Chapter 1. Just Getting By. Arizona. Interstate 10 heading west. Night of November 1st. Sunrise. 6:41 a.m. You're getting ready to pass a diesel Mercedes when the shifter goes all loose. You jiggle the stick and pump the clutch, but it's like holding a dead man's hand. Your old Honda drifts off the highway in a cloud of sand and grit. A moment later, the engine stalls. You pop the hood and fumble around in the back for a flashlight. Then you realize that it's getting light out. You can feel that this poor car, your companion for 10 lonely years, is finished. And if you're still out here when the desert sun rises, so are you. Cars fall apart. So do people. So do phones. You pull out your old iPhone and check the time in the cracked screen. 6:05 a.m. Unlike your poor Honda, or the tattered air freshener hanging from your mirror, which used to hide the smell of dried blood, you'll last forever. If you can find somewhere to hide before 6:41 a.m. You've been making these courier runs for 10 years. Each year, making less than the last. Hiding in trunks and storage units during the day, racing down the desert highways at night with messages and parcels on your passenger seat. It's been boring. It felt like getting old, trapped in this body that can never age. Well, you're not bored now. You're even breathing again. Short, frightened little breaths as you watch the sky lighten in the east. Nerves you thought extinguished years ago fire up again, making your hands shake. You feel almost alive as you check under the hood. The cable clutch is fucked. No surprise there. Maintenance hasn't been a possibility, let alone a priority. And when you look at the engine, you realize the problem runs deeper than one busted cable. You've been ignoring the warning signs. Like an old man who keeps coughing and won't go to the doctor. And the engine looks like you're going to look in exactly, you check your phone again, 16 minutes. Maybe there's still time. You look around at the dusty highway, the wasteland that stretches out to the black horizon in every direction, and try to recall your mortal life. Something you learned when you still drew breath must have the power to save you here. I got a good education, and I haven't let my knowledge stagnate now that I'm dead. I use my phone, some maps to figure out where to go. There are lots of maps in the glove compartment. And though your data connection out here is terrible, you don't use GPS because you don't want to be tracked. You just need to see the maps. From them, you might be able to cobble together a picture of where you are and figure out which way to run. I was supposed to study ecology in the Everglades, but I spent 2 years just wading through swamps, racking up debt before I gave up. You grew up poor, stubborn, and patient. and honed those skills as you tried to get a proper education. You never got your degree, but you possess a broad suite of theoretical and practical skills. This desert isn't Florida, but you've learned its rhythms over the years, and you think you might have a chance. Abandoning the ruined Honda, you grab a satchel holding your deliveries and head south, looking for frontage roads and other signs of development. And even as the sky lightens, the detritus at your feet reveals you're on the right track. You step around smashed cans of Jolt Cola and magazines so faded that nothing remains on their covers, following the trash until you spot something on the horizon. It's the black hulk of an abandoned building. Shelter. The stars to the east are gone, replaced by a blue-purple haze. It's 6:30 a.m. You remember the last time you saw the sun. You were out of college, looking for work, spending all day on your laptop and making calls. You had a job at a call center, another job at an Olive Garden, and you did some design work, but you were drowning in debt, desperate to put all your education to work. You remember your last day well. You drove to your call center job, found it boarded up, and a bunch of confused assholes just like you standing around outside, not knowing what to do. It was around 6, so you watched the sunset illuminate the grimy low-rises and the cash for gold signs, before shrugging and getting back into your car. It wouldn't start, so you got out and started wandering around with your phone up, looking for a signal. And that's when the shadow detached itself from beneath your car. When you rose up again, burning with hunger, sticky with your own blood, your killer did not call you Kindred, or Canite, or Vampire. First you learned about your clan, your lineage, your bloodline that existed since before history, before all cities except one. Your killer said you belonged to Clan Gangrel, half corpse, half animal, undead shapeshifters and beastmasters. The savage outlanders are shape-shifting beastmasters who, almost alone among vampires, can survive outside of the cities. Disciplines are animalism, fortitude, protean. Gangrel flesh is both hardy and able to change its form. The Outlanders also have various powers over living animals. Clan weakness? They're feral. Gangrel struggle to relate to regular mortals, especially as their humanity declines. By the time your sire found you, she had already begun her great metamorphosis. But on that night, she could still pass for human beneath her hat and trench coat. She came to the city rarely, but something about you had attracted her. She embraced you and dragged you away into an abandoned research facility on the outskirts of Tucson, to her little ghoul whelps. You still remember the whelps. They were half-made, half-starved human and women who maintained an eternal twilight half-life by sucking on your sire's blood. Ghouls, you know now, are a favorite servants of vampires. Mortals given vampire blood, while they're still alive, gain agelessness and a little power in exchange for much of their free will. You were greater than they, a true vampire, and they hated you for it. How did you survive those nights? I was my sire's courier before I went independent. My wolf companion and I trawled Tucson, uncovering strange artifacts she demanded we find. Your sire never trusted you, but she needed your quick and independent thinking. Something her spawn lacked. She needed other things too. Rare animals, taxidermied specimens, certain rare types of human blood. You procured them all, crisscrossing Arizona in an old Jeep. It was just you and the strange wolf that appeared one day in your dreams. And then the next night, while you were awake. You don't know where the wolf came from, how it got into the middle of Flagstaff, which is where you met, but you knew what to do. You fed that Lobo your blood, as your sire fed her ghouls, and the beast was yours. The wolf, a male, your wolf was a terrifying specimen, but unlike your sire's whelps, you could speak and think, and had enough sense to find a collar for him so people would mistake him for a dog. Then perhaps to remind yourself of what you had lost, you gave your wolf a name, Shadow. Your sire never trusted Shadow, but you did, with your life. And he repaid that trust one night when you were returning to your sire's haven. He howled, snapped, and finally bit your hand, forcing you to pull off onto the side streets. That's when the wind shifted, and you smelled smoke. You and Shadow approached on foot and watched vampire hunters dragging her blood whelps out of your sire's haven, and never saw your sire again. You fled into the desert, only returning when the old prince of Tucson was destroyed in a coup, and were able to drift back into town unquestioned. You carefully asked questions, but no one knew anything about your sire. No one had ever heard about the gangrel who called herself Lampago and sought apotheosis in the ruins of a decaying research facility. And after all that, 10 years on these miserable desert highways, scraping by on the charity of your elders as you run their errands. If you were still alive, you'd be middle-aged. The elders of the Kindred are lies wrapped in flesh. Undeath is no promise of immortality. You've seen 100 Canaanites born into the night only to die a few months later at the hands of hunters or their own kind, or just because they didn't know what time it was. Strange that you're going to die young. The air ripples. It smells like burning metal. You never should have bought that hatchback. Ahead of you is a long abandoned filling station. Its sign faded into illegibility, and its windows boarded up. Shadow lopes behind you as you run for the ruins, yipping anxiously. He won't burn in the sun, but he smells your fear. Though the station looks abandoned, you see footprints in the sand. A golden eagle sits on a stripped diesel dispenser. Shadow growls, and the eagle puffs up. But this is no mere territorial dispute among wild animals. You can feel the vitae in the golden eagle. It's a famulus, a servant of the blood, like your Lobo. You approach the main building, looking for a way in. The windows and doors are all boarded up. And though there's a garage door or a loading dock, it seems locked. The eagle spreads its wings and screams. You don't have time for this. The sun will kill you. But first, it will drive you mad. You can feel the beast rising in you. The beast, the untamed monster that lurks inside every vampire, that drives you to acts of depravity and violence. You're losing control. You need to act now. But that famulus seems almost to have been put here to guard this place. Its talons flex. I don't just command beasts, I can almost become one. I grow claws. I walk past the eagle and I slash open the boards over the window. A single thunderous heartbeat drives Vitae into your hands, and your nails harden and lengthen, becoming heavy, red-black claws, sharp as razors. The famulus takes one look at those dreadful weapons and flies away with an alarmed screech. Two vicious sweeps of your claws rip away the boards over the windows. As smoke starts to escape from your clothes, you wriggle inside, then claw kick away from the hole. Shadow wiggles his way inside a moment later, his coat gleaming in the light of sunrise. A wave of exhaustion hits you as the sun rises fully. The Kindred were not meant to remain awake during the daylight hours. And you look around for anywhere safe you might rest. You're in a small, sealed back office, crowded with dusty furniture. An old tarp covers the chair. You grab the tarp and you use it to walk a rusted filing cabinet in front of the open window, blocking the sunlight. You check the door. It's unlocked and opens into a long deserted convenience store. Shafts of sunlight cut through the room from gaps in the wooden boards, so you quickly close the door. You're trapped in this little office, but you can't worry about that now. You huddle in the corner behind the little desk, as far as you can position yourself from the window. Then you mentally inventory all the things you do need to worry about. Your ruined car, the ache of hunger in your gums, the smell of fresh blood somewhere in this building, the strange famulus. You may not survive another night, but you survived this one. You survived the warm, black pit where your sires nursed her ghoul spawn. You survived the hunters that came for her. And you survived out here in the desert for years, one night at a time. You permit yourself a tight little smile. You can still make it. You can still find a way out of this. And then the blackness of the day sleep swallows you. Well, like I said, I think what I'm going to do is a chapter at a time, and I think I'm just going to do this one for right now. If you guys are interested in me continuing playing this game, please let me know. Other than that, I'm just going to put this up and see what you guys think. This was fun for me. I don't think I'm going to do much talking, or maybe a little bit of personal thoughts here and there. But yeah, please, if you enjoyed this, like the video. If you want me to keep going, please drop that down in the comments. And if you think other people might enjoy me playing through Vampire the Masquerade Night Road, share this and let's see what they think. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next video.